What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Full weekend behind us. I hope you guys had a good time over the weekend, got a chance to play some games, or maybe you were one of the, I don't even want to say, I guess, unlucky few that went to PokeFest. We'll talk about that later on, the Pokemon Go festival that took place. But there was a lot of other stuff that happened as well, including the Splatoon 2 launch. And that's where we're going to start today's Newswave. I wanted to talk about the entire Splatoon 2 launch. Overall, it seemed to go well. There were a lot of people on social media posting pictures of them with the game, you know, super excited. People were, it was trending at one point. It was all over the place with Splatoon 2. And it looks like because of the amount of stress that was going on, it crashed the eShop. Now, a lot of people are saying it's not uncommon for the eShop to crash when a big game comes out. But I do think Splatoon 2 is kind of a special case. We did see even on Amazon where it was taking up the top, like, what, 2 or 3 spots for all the accessories that went with it and Splatoon 2. So I do think there was a lot of buying power behind this game, which isn't surprising to any of us, really. Splatoon is a very popular series after the first one really took off, especially in Japan, but now it looks like it's very popular, at least, well, not as much, but more popular now than it was before in the United States, again, after the success of the first one. And yes, the eShop crashes. It was very unstable. A lot of people, though, brought up the fact that why didn't Nintendo let us preload this game? Because if they had done that, then there wouldn't be all these issues because everyone wouldn't be trying to download at the same time. It would have been staggered. Even if they unlocked it like a week before launch, it would have still been staggered throughout that week. Several people on Twitter I saw, why didn't we get to preload it? Why didn't we preload it? I hope Nintendo realizes that, and that's an option that I think should be turned on going forward for any of the big releases. If Splatoon 2 was able to crash the eShop, think about what, like, Mario Odyssey is going to do to that eShop. It is going to be unstable all over the place. But I'm very happy that Splatoon 2 is now out to the public because it's much easier to find matches for, well, any of the reviewers can attest this. It took a while. Now it's seconds between matches. I don't even have time to put the Switch down before another match pops up. So overall, Splatoon 2 has gone well. The netcode in that game is outstanding. Like, it plays so smoothly, even over the Switch's, iffy Wi-Fi, we'll leave it at that, and through a LAN connection, it's like super smooth. So overall, Splatoon 2, great time. It's a lot of fun to play. I'm having a great time. I didn't play the first one much, but man, am I having a lot of fun with the second one. But I will say I'm very curious to see what the Media Create sales are, since we will be getting those in the next 2 days or so. So I'm very curious to see where Splatoon 2 tops on the charts. We all have to assume it's going to be #1, even though it includes only, I believe, Friday in the Media Create sales. I want to see where it is and what the number is on day one, because a lot of games sell most of their copies on day one, and then of course it's like it's like a trickle-down effect where it kind of slowly kind of curves out. So I'm hoping that it was a million-unit seller on day one. I have a feeling it was. But we'll see with the Media Create, and I'm very, very curious as to the number of Switches that sold over in Japan, because I have to imagine that Nintendo got enough Switches to retailers, because we saw them start to pop up here in the States as well around Splatoon 2's launch, to get to that 50,000 mark in Japan. They were at 31,000 the week prior. I fully expect 50,000 or so, somewhere in there, anywhere between 45 and 55,000, somewhere in there, to, I think, have a successful launch alongside Splatoon 2. As always, though, I will keep you posted on the Media Creates here on Newswave whenever that launches or is released through Famitsu, and I'll talk about them here, and we'll kind of go over the numbers. Also, I want to keep everyone here in the loop on the financials for Nintendo that are coming up. July 26th, we should have, this is in Japan, so it'll be a little different in my time, but we should have financials for Nintendo for the second quarter of the year, their fiscal year. Of course, that started, it should have been in April, so we should have April, May, and June, and we should have that sometime this week. Again, I know on their official site for Japan, it's going to be launching July 26th is when they release that to investors, so it'll probably be around then here in the United States. And again, I will let you guys know. We'll go over everything, because then we will have an absolute solid number for how many Switches were out there ending that quarter, which would be the end of June. We talked about it on Spawncast. I think it'll probably be in like the 4.25 million or somewhere in there, like 4.2 million overall, because they are kind of marching towards their 10 million unit goal for this year before we get into next January. Next up, we have the Pokemon Go Festival. Now, if you did not go there or you didn't really hear about it, it didn't turn out so well. In fact, there were so many issues, connectivity issues. Getting into the festival took hours and hours. They had massive lines outside of this small park, apparently, that just took forever to get even into the park. And keep in mind, the entire time they're trying to run a challenge to then unlock a legendary Pokemon. It ended up being 2 legendary Pokemons, by the way. Lugia and Articuno were both launched, and they managed to reach their goal despite connectivity issues. But it got so bad that cell towers could not handle the amount of traffic that was being pushed their way. AT&T had issues. Verizon had issues. Apparently they were resolved at some point, but then you still had other cell networks that weren't working. So some people had the ability to play, others didn't, or it was very intermittent. And then, of course, they decide to just say hi to everyone. So they bring out the CEO, and of course, he gets booed.
The CEO of Niantic, Mr. John Hanke.
Thanks, Rachel. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Chicago.
I'm not really sure what they thought was going to happen there. I have a feeling he knew he was going to go out there and get booed and had to kind of face the music and explain, hey, we're working on it. Goes on to say that they have the people at Niantic like working around the clock to get this figured out. But of course, there was a time-sensitive issue since, again, they're running challenges and they're only there for the weekend. That's it. It's not like they're going to be there for like a week or 2 or something. It's done after 48 hours. It got so bad they ended up offering pretty much everyone who paid for the ticket a refund and then $100 worth of Pokecoins, which is great. That's fine. The ticket was like $20, so here's, $20 back and then another 100 in Pokecoins. But that doesn't really refund the amount of airfare and travel and hotels. The amount of money people probably paid to go to this in Chicago from around the world, it was probably massive. I mean, thousands of dollars, right, to travel, book hotels that were probably at a premium since everybody was booking around there and most of the hotels were booked solid. You're going to end up paying more because hotels understand that that's happening. They'll mark it up a little bit no matter what you do. So it's kind of a shame because I have a feeling a lot of people went there, didn't have the best time. Hopefully they met some new people and maybe exchanged some tips and tricks and stuff on the game. Maybe they found new Pokemon. I know a lot of them, some of them are region specific, so maybe if some people came from like Germany or Japan or something, maybe they got some that were only in the United States. But still, not the best for their first festival. Maybe next year they'll understand, well, we need to have legit Wi-Fi running all throughout this park, or we have to let the cell tower, like Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, we need to let them know ahead of time that there's going to be some major congestion, so they may want to make sure that those towers are reinforced with bandwidth or something. All I know is hopefully next year it's better and they don't just make this a one-off, because I think there is a lot of potential behind the Pokemon Go Festival. Oh, and I did mention that Lugia and Articuno are both now out in the wild. You can go and raid them with, I think, 20 people, and most of them you need 20 people for the most part because very difficult, and then you only have like a 2 or 3% a catch rate to get them. It should be that way though, because they're legendary Pokemon. It's supposed to be special if you have them, and if it's super easy to get, 10 or 12 of them in the day when you're walking around, not that special. It should be difficult. It should be something you work at. If people aren't happy with the catch rate, you might not be used to things like MMOs out there where people spend years building their ultimate weapon, like in Final Fantasy XI. Next up, the Super Nintendo Classic appeared to go on pre-order on Walmart. A lot of people jumped on it. I checked it out. I was about 5 minutes late, and it was gone that fast. Like seriously, in minutes it was gone. So I do know a lot of people are getting them canceled, but allegedly, from what I'm hearing, the people who were getting them canceled were people that ordered multiples. So if you ordered like more than one, they cancel your extra. Let me know though. I think it ended up being like one per address or something. Let me know if yours was just flat out canceled because maybe they took too many pre-orders. But now really we're down to a few other places. Target, Best Buy, Amazon, they all have notifications up. So I would go there, I would enable notifications so that they will send you an email when they go up, because once that email goes out, that site is getting smashed with pre-orders. So I guess just be ready when you see that email to go there with your credit card and just cross your fingers, hope you get thrown in the hat. Next up, we have Sonic Mania, which is turning out to be the Sonic game that I'm really excited for this year, more so than Sonic Forces. Now, I know a lot of people are going to like Sonic Forces because it's so crazy. You get to make your own hedgehog. It appears to have this crazy story with these hedgehogs that have superpowers, like infinite, I guess. Which to me, when I saw that trailer, I was like, this seems a little, I guess, corny, but I guess. It's Sonic. It's supposed to be campy. Anyway, Sonic Mania really hits that nostalgia bone for me. I saw it and I was like, this is it. This is a Sonic game I want. I want old school Sonic. I understand it's hard to sell an old school Sonic game, even built up to today's standards, for the full MSRP of $60. They have to go the way of Forces because it's 3D and it has the production value. I get it. But I look at Mania and it looks really exciting, and now there's more information. See, at San Diego Comic-Con, they showed us a screenshot that appears to show a new bonus stage that, according to them, is set up in the the idea from Sonic CD's bonus worlds, where you would kind of be going in 3D and you would pick up spheres. In this case, you're going to pick up spheres for time and speed to increase both. You're going to be chasing down UFOs to get Chaos Emeralds. They also told us that there's going to be a fully animated intro cutscene, which is awesome, and then the rest of the cutscenes will be mostly sprite-based. Think of like how Sonic 3 had their cutscenes, kind of, where you had Sonic and you had Knuckles on screen and they'd interact. Similar to that. So there's going to be a bunch of those kind of going through to set up the story. And overall, man, I'm excited for this game. I can't wait. It's coming up, and I don't know. I'm more excited for it than Forces, but let me know if you're more looking forward to Mania or Sonic Forces. I have a feeling the older crowd will probably be looking more towards Sonic Mania, or if you're a fan of retro games, Sonic Mania is definitely on your radar. And that's it for Newswave today, guys. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me think about any of the stuff we talked about today, whether it is the Pokemon Go Festival debacle. Maybe you went there and you can attest to how it was. Maybe the conditions were pretty bad, and maybe it took you forever to get in, and maybe the connections were just absolutely horrendous. I don't know. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that down in the comments. Also, let me know think about Splatoon 2's launch. Did this get you into Splatoon, even though you didn't play the first one? Much like I didn't play the first one much, but I like Splatoon 2 a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. Also, let me know, guys, Sonic Forces or Sonic Mania? I want to know what your decision would be if you could only buy one. That's it for now, guys. I'll see you next time.